Okay, so we're going to begin to sketch in our still life onto our canvas, and we're going to use two colors to make us kind of a violety brown color. We just want something that's a little darker than this so we can kind of sketch in the forms and get a sense for how our composition is going to look. Okay, so I have mixed up using this ultramarine blue and this cadmium red light, just enough where you can see it's this kind of, if there's a little more of the cadmium red light, it's a little bit more brown of a violet that we want to have, right? And so I've mixed up plenty of that. This is again going to be kind of a little bit watered down, and what I like to say is that we're sketching in our composition when we start our painting, right? Now the good thing is this is all just paint, so we don't have to feel like we are afraid to do this, right? We have our composition here. You'll have it on your computer or a device that you can clearly see, right? I'm using my round brush from my pack. I've made sure I've shaken off all of the stuff that keeps it hard when it comes out of the pack, right? I've mixed up my color on my palette. I have my cup here. I just dip in some of the water and I dip that into the paint. It's not quite as thin as when I toned my canvas. And I'm going to take a look at what I have here and duplicate that there. I'd like you to not use a pencil or anything else. Use your brush to get a feel for what it means to go ahead and sketch in these forms so you can have a level of confidence when you're actually starting from beginning to end on your composition. And you can see here, I'm not so concerned with how this looks as long as I get the basic elements of the shapes down here, right? That's what I'm trying to do, right? If it messes up, right, and you let it dry and you just go back over it, but what we want to have here, moving from the tallest object in the back is how I like to do it. And here's the hint I like to tell people if I was over your shoulder. Where one object stops, you pick up where the next object is, right? What if I'd made this really big here? This cup was really here somewhere. I can look at this and say, no, it's lower there. I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to paint that kind of blue for the background, right? So I'm going to take a look at that. Stop there, right? This comes down to here. Here's where this little kind of funky bear form is. I can load my brush with some color again. Pick up where this box starts. Let's look at the edges there, and you can see how to pick that up. Like that. I can catch the remainder of that bear there. Right, there's that. That line is going the same way there. And then I have that ceramic colored apple here in the foreground. It's okay that that line's there. I'm going over it. That's going to be painted red. And then one of the key things here then is where's the edge of the table? Where's the edge of the table? Where does that run through these objects here? Right? There, straight across to there. Right? Now what I want you to think about is, you don't want to make really hard lines, but get an idea for where those shadows are. Right? You can see shadows being cast around these forms. And what I like to tell people is this: while you still have this, take a look for areas where it's a little darker. This black thing here is going to be dark anyway, so I can make that dark. I can also make underneath here where you can see areas where it's darker. I can make those like that, right? I can also look for areas on this apple. First of all, that's dark. It's like a black color. This is lighter than that side. I can also do this. This kind of gives me a setup here for what these things are called values, light and dark, right? And this gives me some kind of setup that I'll know the direction of light, for example, that's following from when I set this still life up. And then finally I can see some area here that's in shadow, and there's a shadow being cast there. This in the background is going to be some variations of blue where it's a little darker and lighter. So we're all sharing the same image. You can see here I've really watered that down to show that that's eventually I'm going to put the blue over top of that, right? But now I know that's going to be the darker area of blue. So there what I've done is I've used my brush, right? I've worked on my confidence of just going ahead and sketching it in. If I have to go over things, I let it dry and I go back over. I could mix up, make the color a little darker so I can see it. I'm not so worried about those lines being so heavy. It's just a nice guide for me to begin my painting.